Morning all, this is my review of the ThruNite TN12 flashlight. That's it there, TN12. Now this is the 2014 edition, which is a slightly upgraded version from their previous TN12 model. So on the top here it says ThruNite TN12 2014, black, which is the colour of the torch, cool white, which is the colour of the LED, new. So inside the box we have the flashlight itself. Let's take that out of the bag. And there it is. The ThruNite TN12 2014. So there's the LED. That's a Cree LED. I'll find out the model in a moment. On the top here there's a click switch. That's for setting the modes. There are 5 different brightness levels and a strobe mode. And then on the end is a click switch to turn the thing on and off. Now, also in the box we have an instruction leaflet. We have a little pouch with a Velcro strap there. There's also a clip which can be used as a belt clip. There's some spare O-rings and a spare rubber cap for the end switch, and also there's a carrying handle. So product introduction. The ThruNite TN12 2014 is the improved version of the TN12, improved UI, user interface, and 1050 lumen with one 18650 battery, a body specifically designed for better single-hand operation, and a new emitter, the XML2U2, to supply more beam with throw and flood. And you can see there that it's the Cree XML2U2 LED, lifespan of 50,000 hours, uses one 18650 rechargeable or 2 CR123A batteries. Now I believe that they are primary cells, in other words they're non-rechargeable, but of course the 18650 is rechargeable. Max output of 1050 lumens, working voltage 2.7 to 9 volts. That's interesting because the lithium will only be up to about 4. And then we have length, weight, reverse polarity protection, and then the brightness levels, or the durations actually at each brightness level. 1050 lumens, 90 minutes, 800 lumens, 1.5 hours, 280 lumens, 5 hours, 20 lumens, 74 hours, and 0.3 lumens, 1585 hours. 1585 hours? Well, 1585 hours is actually 9.4 weeks. And I've actually had this torch for, well, in excess of 9.4 weeks. And I'll explain why it's taken me so long to do this review in just a moment. But let's put a battery in it now. Now, ThruNite also sent me 2 of their 18650 3400 milliamp hour lithium ion batteries. And they're sitting in the ThruNite MCC2 charger. So here they are. This one seems to be a little bit more charged than this one, so I'll probably take this cell out and put it into the torch. So just before I do that, let's unscrew the torch so that I can see where the battery is going to go. So this is the head with the Cree LED and a spring in there to attach to the battery positive. This is the tail, which contains the on-off switch, another spring in there, and then this is just an aluminium tube that you can see right through. So you can see on this aluminium body part the 2 O-rings there and there that you can replace from the spares kit there. But let's screw on the tail. And then let's take one of these cells, this one, the better charged one, put it into the flashlight, positive end towards the torch head, that looks correct, and screw the head of the torch on. And now I should be able to switch on. Oops, let's take it down to the minimum brightness level. So this is the firefly mode, and this is the mode that kind of caught my attention the most when I received this flashlight. And I kind of got into this obsessional thing where I had to test that 1585 hours thing. So I switched it on to firefly mode and I left it day and night for about 9 weeks in total. And then finally the battery went flat. So yes, I did prove the 9 weeks. I'm not exactly sure it was 9 weeks. I don't remember the exact date I started. And the torch was used occasionally within that period on full brightness. But certainly this thing runs for at least 9 weeks in this firefly mode, which I think is pretty impressive. Now let's just go through the other brightness levels. You can just about see the firefly mode output there. So that's low. Then we have medium, high, and max. And you can see what it's doing to the camera. The camera is turning down its auto gain because of the brightness of that beam. And back to firefly mode. Now the other thing you can do if you get into a panic is just press and hold the button, and there's a strobe lighting warning here because this is the strobe mode. Hold it for 1 second and it will strobe the LED at maximum brightness, which you can use to dazzle an assailant. Now, how does the ThruNite TN12 compare with other flashlights? Well, the only flashlight I've got that is of comparable brightness is the Fenix TK41, but as you can see, it's a vastly different size, and that's mainly due to the batteries. So whereas the TN12 uses a single 18650 cell, the Fenix TK41 uses 8 AA nickel metal hydrides. You can run it on 4, but if you want the maximum brightness output, which I think is about 800 lumens, you need all 8 of these cells. The ThruNite TN12 can achieve over 1000 lumens from just that single lithium cell. Now, what about the beam from this thing? It's not very easy to tell what it's like indoors here. So a few weeks ago, I took this out with the Fenix TK41 and I did some comparative beam tests on a foggy night. So I'm working under this little light, PIR light that's attached to the shed, and I've got just enough light to see that the two flashlights I'm going to compare are the Fenix TK41 on the left and the ThruNite TN12 on the right. Now it's very foggy tonight, so this is the Fenix TK41. It's mostly beam you can see, but that is the shed at the bottom of my garden, and I'm just going through the 4 brightness levels on this one, so you can see the shed, but you can also see how foggy it is tonight, and you can see the beam shape, so it's got this very bright central core and then this sort of less bright flood area around it. So if I bring that down to the shed again, okay, here's the ThruNite TN12. This has 5 settings, but the lowest one is very, very low. So this is medium, there's high, and there's what's the highest one called? Max, I think. So let's look at the pattern again. Again, we have a central core. It's a bit wider on this one, and a flood that surrounds it. And then if I bring that down to the shed, you can see how those work together to pick the shed out. But as I say, it is very foggy tonight, so it's mostly beam that you can see and not much seen. Well, now I am holding both flashlights. So Fenix TK41 on the left, ThruNite TN12 on the right, and they're similar, I suppose. Maybe slight differences in light colour, and also slight differences in the intensity of the central beam, but the flood throw around both of them is very, very similar. But those are the two beams from these two flashlights. So you can see that the beam shapes from both of these two flashlights are actually quite similar. On paper, the ThruNite TN12 is brighter, 1050 lumens. The Fenix TK41 thinks about 800 lumens, but of course the ThruNite is massively smaller because it takes just that one 18650 cell. Now, when ThruNite sent me this flashlight, they said, can you give it some real pain when you test it to prove how tough it is? and the suggestions were drop it onto some concrete or drive a car over it. But I'm not very keen to do that because this is such a nice torch. I don't really want to damage it. And the other excuse is that it's actually quite cold outside and I don't want to do any outside testing. So I'm going to test something else. Now there's very little about this in the little leaflet that comes with this torch, but here it is, IPX8. Now the website gives a little more detail. It says here, waterproof, IPX8, 2 meters. So Wikipedia says that the IP code, the International Protection Marking, IEC standard 60529, sometimes interpreted as ingress protection marking. Now, liquid ingress protection, these don't say X, but IP8 is immersion beyond 1 meter. The equipment is suitable for continuous immersion in water under conditions which will be specified by the manufacturer. Okay, let's give it a try. So here's a carafe. I've filled it with water. What's that say? Mezzo litro. Okay, that's good. So let's put the ThruNite torch on high, I think. After all, it's going to be water cooled inside here. And stick it in the water and see how long it lasts. Probably give it about half an hour. Well, that seems to be going pretty well so far. So the ThruNite TN12 is completely submerged inside this carafe of water. It's been in there a couple of minutes, so let's give it about half an hour and see how she does. So it's been in there about 15 minutes and bubbles forming, but it still seems to be going strong. And while that's in there, I just wanted to turn my attention to ThruNite's own website. So here's the TN12 on the website, currently priced at $49.95. And I also just wanted to look at some of ThruNite's accessories. So here is the MCC4 4-way charger, the MCC2 2-way charger, and the pack of 2 18650 cells. Let me just go to that one, because on here there are some images. This one is interesting to me because it shows the cell actually contains a Panasonic NCR 18650B 3400 milliamp hour cell, protected cell. So here's the TN12 on Amazon.co.uk. It's the ThruNite TN12 tactical LED flashlight, #1 best value, max output 1050 ANSI lumen with Cree XML2U2 LED, 5 versatile modes, waterproof to IPX8, TN12 cool white. This is currently priced at £39.95, free delivery in the UK. Right, that's it. 30 minutes is up and the torch is fine. Let's get you out of the carafe. Okay, here it is, a little bit wet, so I put it on a J cloth. Let's just turn the brightness, that's max, and then back down to firefly. Yeah, that's still on. So let's just dab this thing dry and open it up and see if any water got inside. Now if I undo it, it immediately turns off, of course. And really the waterproof rating is down to the quality of these O-rings making a seal on the aluminium, but all appears to be good. No water on the battery. So I think it's survived the 30 minutes immersion in water test with flying colours. So that's it. That's the end of my review of the ThruNite TN12 2014 edition. 1050 lumens, single 18650 lithium cell torch. And after half an hour immersed in water, yep, it's still working fine. Cheerio.